The first strategy for upping your game is to chew gum, and no, I'm not kidding. Here's why. When we chew gum as Aspies, what we're doing is we're transferring our stimming to something that, well, everybody does. So we just don't stand out. Now, when I stim, typically what I do is I rock back and forth. I do that a lot. Other people will fidget with their hands or twirl their hair, but there's all kinds of ways of stimming, which, by the way, is a very healthy thing. A lot of people don't realize this, but when you stim, what you are doing is you are relaxing. It's a way of controlling stress. And when you control stress, what that does is it reduces the release of the hormone cortisol, which is a stress hormone, which is harmful. So when you stim, that's a good thing. That's a positive thing. But you don't have to do it by fidgeting. I don't even know if twidgeting is a word. It is now. Twirl your hair, fidget, you're twidgeting. All right, whatever. Rocking or whatever you do to stim. But try chewing gum. Makes you fit in just a little bit better. Number 2 is this. Check out the color of people's eyes. Now, the reason we say this is because as Aspies, we have a difficult time making eye contact. We don't want to look at people's eyes. I'm not sure I fully understand the cognitive neurology behind that, but I do understand this. It's very uncomfortable. I don't even like to look photographs in the eye. There's something odd about that, but one way to overcome that is instead of looking at the person's eye, check for their eye color. Well, it's the same thing, right? Well, not really, because you're tricking your brain into not looking at the person's eye. You're looking at their eye color, which is looking at their eye, but they don't know you're checking their eye color. So that is one of the strategies that we can use to up our game. Number 3 is this: just be quiet for a moment. Now that's something that's very easy for most Aspies because we're quiet pretty much all the time. Depends on what kind of Aspie you are, but the overwhelming majority of Aspies that I have encountered don't have a problem with being quiet. But let's say you're talking to somebody, having a conversation, which may be a little bit uncommon, but you ask them a question, maybe they hedge on the answer. So try doing this. Number 1, check their eye color. So you're looking them in the eye without looking them in the eye, and then just be quiet. What happens when you do that? Well, the other person doesn't like that quietness. That's one of the reasons people don't like Aspies, because we're too quiet. People like noise. That's the way they're pre-programmed by nature. They like that chatter of the people talking around them, and makes them a little bit uncomfortable. So chances are they will say something. Number 3, one more time, is be quiet, something that is very easy for most Aspies to do. Number 4, this is one that I personally do and that I really like, and that is journal. Write stuff down. Keep a journal of positive experiences. Now, years ago, a lot of years ago, back in the 80s, when I was a pastor, I had this big old Bible. I have no idea why I carried that big thing, but in the back of the Bible were like a dozen blank pages. And what I learned to do is every time I had a positive experience with another person, somebody said something kind to me, did something nice for me, maybe something as simple as holding a door for me or letting me out in traffic, or maybe somebody, a clerk in a store, who was unusually courtesy. You know, you have all of these positive experiences that you go through in life, and what I would do is I would write those down on those blank pages in the back of my Bible. And I got to tell you, it wasn't, I think there were maybe 10 blank pages, I don't know. But it wasn't long before I had all 10 of those pages filled up with positive experiences that otherwise I would have lost, and I kept it. The other way you journal is you do, well, kind of just the opposite, and that is that you write down negative experiences. What you're doing is you're transferring those negative experiences from your brain to a piece of paper. And I challenge you to write these on paper, not type them on your computer, which you can do that as well. But the reason I like to write them on paper is because then you can destroy the paper. You can also destroy your computer, but I suggest you don't do that. But if you have a burn barrel, you can take that piece of paper after you fill it up and take it outside, burn it, or you can do it one at a time, or you can put it in a paper shredder, you can just rip it up, throw it away. So what you're doing is you're transferring those negative thoughts to the paper, and then you're getting rid of them. But you do the opposite when you're journaling positive things. You put those on paper, maybe on your computer, and you keep them. And you go back and you review them now and again. And the reason I did it in my Bible is because I use my Bible a lot, so I always had reference to those things. Journaling, that's a hack. That's something that works very well. Yeah, number 5 is this. Just do something that makes you happy. Now, we actually talked about this in another video, but stop and think about the things that you do besides overeating and drinking, those harmful things, but the things that you do that gives you a little bit of pleasure, like listening to music. If you heard my other video, you know that one of the things I like to do, maybe late at night to work out my voice, whatever, I will come and listen to music, and I'll even sing along. Yeah, I do a good Elvis. I told you that once before. I think I do, but maybe what do you call those places where you go and like a restaurant, you get up and sing? I forget what you call that. You probably won't catch me doing that, but if you do, I'll be doing my Elvis. But that's something that makes me happy, relaxes me, gets my mind off of things. So what makes you happy? Maybe you like to listen to music, put on your headset, whatever, and take a listen. Maybe you like to read. Maybe you like to do sewing or knitting or crafts or something, whatever that is, paint. Do that. Take time to make yourself happy. Number 6 is what I call reverse procrastination. Now, this may not be something that is normal for you, but it's something you can do, you can work on, and that is, instead of putting it off, doing it later so you don't have to do it now. Do it now so you don't have to do it later. Really kind of simple. Yeah, you got to work on that. It doesn't come natural. It's something that works very well. Another thing you can do, and this is kind of under this number 6, reverse procrastination. If you got a room you need to clean up, kind of messy, maybe your garage, some space in your house. You know how to do that, or how I do it? Anytime I go into that room, or in my case, it would be the garage, I take one thing that's out of place and I put it up. That's it. No big deal. Not spending all Saturday cleaning your garage. Just take one thing, put it away. You'd be surprised how quickly your garage or your room or whatever is orderly. Now, with Aspies, that's probably not a big deal because they tend to be orderly anyhow, but even for an Aspie, even a mess is an orderly system. I mentioned this in another video, but while most people have what we would call filing systems, Aspies tend to have piling systems. Some Aspies have piling systems. I kind of do both, but I like things to be in order. Number 7 is take care of your body by creating a food plan. If you're out of shape, try this. It actually works. The reason I started doing this, or what compelled me to start doing this, is I was talking to a guy who was on one of these mail-in diet programs, and he said it's really easy. You just eat the food and lose the weight, take off the weight. That's one of their advertising slogans, and he said it actually works. I thought, cool. And the guy did. He lost a lot of weight. And I thought, cool, I will try that. Only I'm not going to pay for a mail-in program. I'm just going to make my own stuff. So what I did is I got on the computer, got onto the spreadsheet, and I doing some research on the internet, how many calories in what and what nutrition is in what. And I created my own food plan. So I know what I'm going to eat every Monday and every Tuesday and every Wednesday and every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I know what I'm going to eat every day of the week before it gets here. And it works. I lost about 100 pounds just using a simple food plan. And I calculate the calories. I know how many calories I'm going to eat every day, typically 1 day a week, Sunday. I will take a day off and I'll try not to be quite as rigid, but this is something that comes very natural for people with Asperger syndrome because we like things orderly. We like to pre-plan. We like spreadsheets. For some reason, we have this odd affinity for spreadsheets. But we like schedules. We like routines. And if you're having a challenge physically, make a food plan and adapt it to you. If you have, for example, a heart problem, you want a food plan that addresses your heart problem. And you can find that on the internet. Just Google around for heart-friendly diet. If you're having a problem with your liver or your kidney, same thing. Internal organs, there's some foods that are not friendly to kidneys, not friendly to livers. So, it's easy to find on the internet. Why would anybody not do that? Number 8 is be conscious of your hair. Okay, notice I changed the screen so you can't see my hair, but it's kind of one of those things you need to practice what you preach. But this is something that is really difficult for most Aspies because we're just not good with hair. I don't know why that is, but again, that's one of those neurological conditions that we're just not good with it. I thought I was at one time, but I would use lots of hairspray, keep my every hair in place, but the problem was I would put them in the wrong place. But be conscious of it. Before I do a video, get out my brush, comb my hair, brush my hair, try to get it reasonably going in the same direction, But one little trick that I learned probably 20 years ago, there's this gadget out there called a Flowbee. You attach it to a vacuum cleaner and cut your hair. It sucks up the hair while you're cutting your hair. It's amazing. And being somebody who likes routines, I do that every week. So my hair is pretty much in the same length all the time, same hairstyle. You can change your hairstyle if you want to. But keep in mind you are an Aspie. You're trying not to be a non-Aspie. You're trying to work with your Aspiness, whatever. I don't even know if that's a word or not. It is now. I'm never at a loss for words. I just make them up. Number 9 is focus on body language. This is something, again, that's really kind of simple, but if you're standing around with your hands in your pockets, that's not very inviting. What's even less inviting if you're standing around with your thumbs in your pockets. I've done that before. Just standing there feeling comfortable. So be conscious of that. Now, you don't have to obsess over it. If you're comfortable with your hands in your pockets, go ahead and do it. But just be aware of the fact that it's not very inviting. Maybe you don't want to be inviting. Maybe you want people to turn away from you and not bother you. All right, if that be the case, then cross your arms. When you stand around or sit around with your arms crossed or sit with your legs crossed, what you are communicating to other people is, don't bother me, I want to be left alone. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but often, you're just communicating with body language, and it's a really simple thing to do. So focus on your body language. Number 10 is think of yourself as your most vulnerable asset. Again, this is the point we talked about in another video, but if you had one car, one automobile, and brand new, really nice car, but this is the only one you get for the rest of your life. Well, at my age, probably doesn't matter, but, younger people, this is the only car you get for the rest of your life. You would take care of that car. If you had any sense, you would. You'd get the oil changed. You'd keep sure that it doesn't get rust on it. You'd park it inside if you could. You would do everything you could to keep that car running because, 50 years from now, you're going to need that car in good shape. And you got to do it now. Well, do the same thing to your physical body. Keep it in good shape because this is the only one you get. There's no replacement. You can get replacement parts, but they're very limited. But other than that, this body, your physical being, it's the one and only. It's irreplaceable. And if it gets in bad shape, it's in bad shape. I mean, some things can heal, some things you can make better, but a lot of things you can't. For example, spoke a moment ago about your kidney. Once you have kidney failure, it's irreversible. I mean, the effects of it can be reversed if you take care of it, but the damage is irreversible. Take care of that stuff. You know, it's your body parts. Less one you get, let's get a transplant. Then number 11, and we'll just mention this one very quickly, but just be yourself. All right, so I said all these things that you need to do, and we start doing these things, and what happens is we become very, very, very self-conscious. That is one of the worst things you can do. So we talk about focusing on your hair, being conscious of the way you stand, but if you do those things and it makes you very, very self-conscious, then you're just self-defeating the whole idea. So the supreme idea, the overriding idea, the primary idea behind all of this, or the strategy, I should say, not idea, is just be real. Be yourself. Don't try to, and I do this a lot, accidentally, not on purpose, but I will take on the personalities of people that I've seen. And everyone does this to some extent, particularly authority figures. If there is someone in your life, say that you're in prison. Hopefully you're not, but if you're in prison, you have a tendency to take on the personality of the prison guards. If you have a job, you have a tendency to take on the personality or personality traits, even down to facial expressions of your supervisor. Something we do. But just be yourself. You don't need to fake and try to pretend to be someone else. Just be yourself. Be real. Be comfortable in your own skin. You see those rectangle boxes? You know what that means? That means this conversation doesn't end until you want it to. So if you want to keep on talking, hanging out, just click one of those boxes and we'll just go on till you're done, till you want to quit. See you next time.